Hi guys, welcome to my channel. Good morning, good afternoon, good evening, wherever you're watching this video from. It's nice to have you guys today. It's still your guy Andy. I'm calling you today on trending stories. A few days ago, the Ministry of Works were having a program, in Lagos State at Eko Hotel, and it's still linked up to the construction of the coastal highway, which have been on the news for quite some time now. Just as a kind of refresher, the federal government initiated the construction of coastal highways. It's about 700-kilometer road, but they are starting the first phase, which will start from Victoria Island in Lagos and move down to Calabar. And based on this development, there have been some kind of heat up within the system because some existing businesses were demolished. And these businesses employs about 4,000 people, anchors about 80 businesses. I'm talking about Landmark Beach Resort. There are a whole lot of other businesses that were affected and some communities. But the focus is more on, the Landmark Hotel and Beach Resort, because it's like the face of tourism in Nigeria, and it attracts up to 1 million people annually for tourism in the country. And this is about FDI, foreign direct investment. So this is why people are, agitating and kind of trying to understand the reason why the government is trying to demolish an existing business that, is putting food on the table of the people. So based on this fact, there's kind of a whole lot of, heat up on the government on this. And the Honorable Minister of Works have been on the hot seat all this while. So having said this, event at the Eko Hotel in Lagos, there's a correspondent from Arise News that, came up with a question concerning the EIA or ESIA. It, tries to assess the impact of the project on the environment and social, aspect of the project as it relates to, the communities and the people around the area. And knowing the coastal highway is going through, the ocean, going through the beach, the ocean, and what have you. So there's aquatic life that need to be protected as well. And then what about the social aspect in terms of affecting a community, demolishing a whole community, demolishing a whole lot of businesses because of a coastal highway? So these are part of what environmental impact assessment is supposed to do. What is the impact of this project on the environment? Like many people have been saying, that this project, demolition of existing businesses, there are a whole lot of infrastructure in that place. For example, there may be pipeline, oil pipeline that goes through that underground in those areas. There may be, water pipe, borne water, there may be sewage and a whole lot of stuff that may be underneath, the environment. And you now come in and put on, a coastal highway on it. So it's going to be kind of disastrous. So these are part of the things the environmental social impact assessment is supposed to, come up. And this is in the purview of the Federal Ministry of Environment. So the correspondent was trying to find out if the minister have the preliminary approval and the final approval. And the preliminary approval comes on first before the final approval. Let's take a look at this video and understand what transpired between the Minister of Works and the Arise News Correspondent. And then we take it from there.
You mentioned the ESIA is currently being carried out by...
Sister, I was raised in the village. Me, I'm not here for me.
Well,
so
sorry,
so try to speak.
I can't help the way I speak. You mentioned that the ESIA was being carried out at the moment. The EIA Act of 1992...
I need interpreter.
Well, you have enough people next to you. The EIA Act of 1992 states that an EIA must be approved by the Federal Ministry of Environment before the commencement of any project.
No,
unless an exemption has been given.
So there is preliminary approval, there is final approval.
Has an exemption been given? And if so, if you have the preliminary approval...
Exemption of what?
For the project to start without the final approval. If you have the preliminary approval, can this be shared?
We are following due process.
So can we have a
It
copy
is
of the
federal
preliminary
government that
approval?
gives the approval. It's not you.
So
It's
can we
federal
have a copy
government.
of the preliminary approval?
We have the approval.
And you can make that public to the media?
Everything in order.
Okay, thank you.
2 more questions, please.
Back, you've had and seen what transpired there, seen the altercation, you see the responses from the Minister of Works, and how the lady insisted to make sure her question, went through. So that's what we're talking about. And it was quite unfortunate, hearing what the minister was saying that, oh, I attended school in the village, so I don't hear funny. I don't know what that got to do with the question the lady was asking. There's no bearing between what he's saying and what the lady was saying. She's focused on trying to find out, do you have the necessary documentations, to embark on this kind of huge and humongous project? And that's our focus. And the minister was trying to downplay it, bringing in some kind of comic relief. But I'm glad that the lady was focused, trying to hinge on her question. Do the Ministry of Works have this documentation, the EIA? That is the question. But he never answered yes or no. What did he say? Instead, he tried to bully the correspondent in terms of, you are not the one that gives the approval. It is the federal government. And unquote, I am the federal government. I'm the representative of the federal government. So it's still in our own, jurisdiction to, do it. So why are you stressing me when you are not the one to provide it? For me, that's kind of the message he's trying to send to the girl, kind of shut her down. But thank God she stood her ground and, be able to push her question through. And what she was asking was very germane, because you can't do this kind of project without understanding the impact on the environment, the impact on the social activities or social life of the people. So this is why this documentation is very important. Before you embark on this kind of project, you have to get it done. If the EIA said no, this project can be done because of this certain negative impact, on the environment and on the community, on the aquatic life, then the project cannot go on. So that is why it is critical for them to publish this documentation if they have the approval. Yes, I know Ministry of Environment is still within the federal government, a ministry from the federal government, and they can just put up the stuff, sign it, whether they do the assessment or not. But that's a different story for another day. But at least let there be evidence that yes, this was done, so that tomorrow, if anything happens in relation to that road, to the environment, or to the social activities, of those in those areas, then those who sign those documentation can be held to account. That is the point. Whatever they want to do to get it, that's their problem. But we want to know, they have this document? Do they have it? If they have it, let them publish it. I will encourage the press to continue to do their job. Don't be intimidated by anybody. You do your job, and your job is critical to national development. So let's hope and see that if the ministry has the EIA document, that they'll be able to publish it and release it to the press, so the press can be able to, publish it on their networks. So Nigerians can know that, oh yeah, they are following due process or they are not following due process. So the EIA is quite critical to this project, and that is why I concur with the question that the Arise correspondent asked the Honorable Minister, but unfortunately she didn't get the required answer. The way he put it, he just tried to navigate through the question and put everybody hanging. But at the end of the day, the truth shall prevail. Does the construction of Coastal Highway have the EIA, environmental impact assessment documentation? Is there any approval from the Minister of Environment that the project can go on? Because the EIA gonna look at the positive and the negative impact of the project. Therefore, this document is critical. May the Ministry of Environment do the needful, ensure that this assessment is conducted, not just sending approval without any assessment. Make sure it is properly done, and let the Ministry of Works go get what is required from the Minister of Environment, and then everybody can go to sleep. So I will leave it here for now. Whatever is your own views, whatever you think that this whole stuff is turning into, feel free to go to the comment section and put out your comment there, and then I'm going to respond to you definitely. And also, before you leave my channel, don't forget to like it, to share it, and to subscribe to my channel. Thank you for being on my channel. I'm going to see you on my next video. Put on your notification so that the next video that is dropping, you will be notified. Thank you for being there. See you in my next video.